Cam Radio, we go ham. It's your boy Tony G. Big Lou, the Sportsbook K-Ham Radio, Tuesday night, 8 o'clock. We are here. What a crazy upset weekend. I mean, we, like I said, starting off from last week with LSU women's losing. That was if you had them losing, you're way better than I. I didn't see it coming.
Yeah,
I
did not see that coming at all.
Maybe came in a little bit flat. I don't know, off a championship high. You never really know. But man, LSU, they dominated this weekend. A lot of games to talk about. We're gonna jump right in to the NFL, kind of switch back and forth with some basketball. Thursday night game was the Panthers and the Bears. It was a game. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
The Bears held it on and they won.
It was a contest. Yeah, Bears held on to win.
What do you think about Bryce Young being a little bit too small?
Hey, that was a concern for me when they first drafted. I was like, oh, he's a small guy. I said it felt like it felt, to be honest, Tony, it felt like it was Kyler Murray all over again. Because Kyler Murray is talented. He's a talented quarterback. He's got the intangibles, but he's just small. So it's hard to see over big linemen, when you're that small. That means you got to move around so you can expand your vision. And the Panthers are not built for that right now. So it's gonna, it's gonna be a testament. I believe once they can get some legitimate players in there, then things will start, changing for Bryce Young. But since he's a small quarterback, they're going to have to build a team, that can benefit him being able to see the field.
Yeah, a lot of rollouts, copy of the
a lot of
West Coast
rollouts,
offense.
RPOs.
Yeah. But I like his arm. I like his.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's got a good arm.
He's got a good arm. He's got a good read. Very quick. But the Bears held on to this one. The underpaid the Bears and the Panthers 29. It was definitely a Thursday night football at its best. The Colts and the Patriots. Holy cow! This was not a barn burner. Holy cow! This was
no, it wasn't. It was man. This was not the day. That was not the game for Matt Jones to look the way he looked Sunday. It was not the game for that. Terrible showing for the Patriots. The Colts win a lot of and that was the reason for the people that saw the game or maybe have watched the highlights. You saw coaching. I'm gonna say coaching. You saw the coaching on the sideline that Matt Jones was getting, and and that was a result of him doing things that he should be light years ahead of. Like throwing off the back of your leg is high school. You don't do that. You don't throw it off the back of your leg. 9 times out of 10, you're gonna throw an interception, which is what happened. And that's why he was pointing so vigorously at the tablet, because the playbook probably didn't specify for him to do that. So, and those type of things, frustrates the coach, frustrates the team, and it causes turnovers, and turnovers loses games. So there's a level of frustration there, and I don't know, maybe New England might get on board for the Caleb Williams sweepstakes. Get him a quarterback in there, maybe trade Belichick to a team, get the draft picks, and try to build a team around him. I'm not sure, the dynamics of how that's going to work, but I feel like, Tony, that Belichick is not going to be there at the end of the season, and there's going to be changes, man.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's time to move on. I mean, everything runs its course. Heck of a run. Yeah, like I said, this was an under. The under definitely paid. This is another under. And I keep mentioning the unders because I'll give you some stats. The Texans and the Bengals. I picked the Bengals. I thought the Bengals were going to win this game. They're going to cover the spread. Even put them in a 2-team parlay. and Joe Burrow, C.J. Stroud had a heck of a day, 356 yards. Joe Burrow had 347 yards. He had two interceptions. C.J. It was what?
It was an awesome game. I mean, I watched it from the beginning to end, and I every time I put my head down to text you to tell you what was going on, something else happened, and I was like, crap. And I had to look up, and then I was like, "Ooh, I got to tell." And when it was, I tried to text you at least 5 times during that game, and every time I've
Yep.
been down to put these big thumbs on those little bitty buttons, something spectacular would happen. I mean, both sides of the field with the Bengals and with the Texans. So it was. I think that was the game. That was the game of the week. That had to be the game of the week. The way they
I,
were back and forth, the intensity, and the way that Stroud is playing is ridiculous.
and Singletary ran for 150 yards. I mean, he ran, and then Noah Brown had 172 yards of catching. I mean,
Yeah.
Chase had 124. I mean, and
I mean,
Tyler Boyd had
just
117. But it was, and that was a heck of a win. C.J. Stroud, the Texans, 5-4. My hat's off. I didn't pick them. The Bengals got some. They got a bunch of injuries, and
yeah,
they got a lot going. They got a lot going on.
yeah. There was a little
They
bit of
gave up
frustration
four.
there in that fourth quarter. There was a little bit of frustration, with Joe Burrow. I think that's where the interception came from. Sometimes you think you gotta play hero ball when you score, then they score, then you gotta score again, then they score. And sometimes quarterbacks say, okay, I gotta win this. We keep going back and forth like this, I gotta win it. And that's when interception happened.
I think we saw first time that I could actually say that I saw Joe Burrows rattled.
Mm-hmm.
He
Oh
he
yeah.
looked rattled. That fourth quarter had a lot of sacks. Um, did not definitely. But man, my hat's off to the Texans. Keep doing what you're doing, man.
Kudos,
You
yeah.
guys are have
Kudos.
yeah
Kudos to the
yeah.
Texans.
You won 5 more games than I thought you were gonna. So that's a great thing, man. What happened with your Saints?
Exactly what I said last week. Exactly what I said last week. If your offense doesn't change from the last game you played to this game, now just because I root for the team and I'm gonna cut them a little slack because I've been getting some feedback that how can I be a fan of this team and every time I get on the radio, I'm bashing my team. And this is why. And the reason why I bash the team is because I say that it's a lack of offensive creativity. They know exactly what's going to happen when any offensive package that comes on the field. When Taysom comes on the field, they know that he's priority, hands down, regardless. So, and it doesn't take much because he's not a quarterback all the time. So it doesn't take much to, scheme up something on defense. It doesn't take much to fool him on defense. You can fool him with simple stuff because he doesn't see it all the time. He's not a quarterback, or he's not a full-time quarterback. So
Jason
we can't
Winston
create,
started. Jason Winston
yeah.
started the game. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And then we came back with Carr.
Yes.
Carr played a little bit. He was
Mm-hmm.
13 for
Reed.
13 for 18. Yeah,
Right.
110 yards. James Winston threw 2 interceptions, two TDs. But I was watching it. It was on the TV to my left, um,
Mm-hmm.
and I was just, after the first quarter, I know after going into the half, it was 24-3. And I
Right.
just shook my head and I said, "What are they doing?" And then the Saints did come. The Saints did come and scored 2 more touchdowns. Got the 2-point conversion. Made it a little bit. It was 24-3. They made it a little more interesting. The Vikings put a 3. It's weird because you watch the Saints And I don't know. They even when they played Chicago, they made Chicago look great. They came back later in the third, and the offense started clicking, but it was too little, too late.
Right.
And I don't know. I
That
Things are going to change. I think at the end of the year, Lou. I don't think this.
they have
I
to.
don't.
They when the fans are holding up a sign saying fire the coach. I don't think
It
we
might
need. I
be.
don't think it's time to go. And I think Dennis Allen is an excellent defensive mind. I think he needs to. I think he needs to stay on that side of the ball. If he can stay on that side of the ball and not have to worry about the offense, that would be fine. Or managing a whole team, you know. And I understand, especially with fans, it's like, you know, with people like Josh McDaniels, people like Dennis Allen, that are in Nathaniel Hackett that specialize on one side of the ball. But you have to understand when you're a head coach, you have to know everything, a little bit of everything, special teams, offense, and defense. Even though you have specialists in that area, you still have to oversee and manage everything. So, it takes you away from what you're used to and what you're dominant at. And that's where you find where a lot of teams lack in one area or they lack on one side of the ball. And why is it so hard? Okay, if you don't know offense, what's so hard about you hiring somebody that's great at offense, and then you won't have to worry about that. And sometimes it's ego, you know.
Yeah,
Sometimes it's ego, or sometimes you have kind of a fraternity, you know, of people that you want to work your career with, and sometimes that doesn't work out. You got to hire who's best for the job. And but I believe 80% of it is ego because we fuss about McDermott and his inability to get a solid running game going. You know, uh, so Josh Allen don't have to be RB number one. You know,
right.
we constantly talk about that, and it doesn't change. So yeah, but that's what the problem is with New Orleans. We have no offensive creativity. We have too many weapons for our offense to be so predictable and so lackluster. And
I
that's
agree.
what the
I
problem is.
agree.
And if you can't
And that's
score
one.
points on offense, your defense is going to suffer because they're always on the field. If you're three and out, or you're throwing
That's
interceptions.
exactly. And that's what makes gambling on New Orleans uh, very hard because they're inconsistent. I mean, we're looking for some kind of consistency, and they're very
Right.
inconsistent. Very inconsistent. What about the Pittsburgh Steelers winning another one?
Winning another one, and I think we both had question marks uh about Jordan Love, especially on the road. I just had an inkling in my bones that Pittsburgh was going to win that game. And he didn't play that bad. He just
Now
had a
he had
bad,
two picks. Yeah,
yeah, he
yeah.
just had two bad picks. But he just doesn't
Now
have the intangibles to take over and win a game. I don't think. I think that's what the problem is because he throws a beautiful ball. His long
yeah,
ball is beautiful.
yes.
And it's like, and it's almost Aaron Rodgers. It almost looks like how Aaron Rodgers, how they just flick the
Sweet
ball and
through.
it
Yeah,
goes 60, 70 yards through the air and it's bred back. Beautiful, but intangibles, winning intangibles. I don't think he has that yet. If he's able to get that, I think that's something that you got to have day one. But it seems like that's what's missing with me. He doesn't know how to command the win through the team. So maybe that's what I'm not sure, but to me, that's what it looks like. But kudos to Pittsburgh and pulling off the win. Kenny Pickett, they had that running game was outstanding with Najee
ooh,
Harris
running game,
and
man.
the other running back.
Lauren,
I can't Warren.
Jalen Warren. They had over
They
205
man.
yards. Yes,
Oh yeah. Yeah, they ran Rash all night long. And so kudos Pittsburgh with the win. They're 5-4 and they're sitting what second in their division? Second in the
6-3.
AFC?
They're six
Okay,
and
six
three.
and 6-3. So they're sitting. Am I right? Is it second? Are they second now?
They are,
Because
yeah, they're, damn,
Cincinnati doesn't have any. Cincinnati doesn't have any division wins, and I think Pittsburgh got more division wins now than Baltimore does. I think.
so this is where we're at. Pittsburgh's number two at 6-3. Baltimore's number one, and
Oh,
Cleveland's right
Baltimore's good.
underneath. Yeah, and
Yeah,
Cleveland's right underneath them. Cincinnati's in last place with a 5-4 record.
right. And
So
so they kind of, I'm not going to say they're on the hot seat, but they gotta raise their sense of awareness because they could very well be a above 500 team and not make the playoffs because
yes,
their division is so tough.
that is true. Hey, what about the Bucks, man? I think he's found a home. I think
Yeah,
I'm not
I
saying
think
he's great.
right. But we think Baker works. He works in Tampa Bay for now. This
He
gives
worked.
them time to get them a franchise quarterback. I think he's good enough for that. I think he's good enough in Tampa to where they can take their time and get the right quarterback for their team.
Hey, don't be surprised if he works out because I always thought he
Yeah.
had talent. I thought there was a lot of extra stuff that just
Hmm.
needed to go away. And
Yeah, he just had to
Henry
come
only had
down off the cloud a little bit. And it feels like
yes.
he's down off that cloud and he's found, like you say, he's found a home. He fits there.
Derrick Henry had 24 yards. They ran for 42. That's not going to get it. It's not going to win
Not
it.
gonna get
And
it.
they lost.
So
Yeah, and they're going deeper into the cellar.
so I guess the league knew something about Derrick Henry that we didn't know because it was blowing my mind. Like, what? Trade for this dude. So I guess
They
they
didn't want to trade.
understood.
They didn't want to give him
Right.
up. Tennessee did not want to give him up, and they need. I mean, he only could do so much.
Hmm.
And it's just kind of one of those things. Um, so the Bucks had a good win. 49ers came off of three-game losers, beat the Jaguars at home. Some people are saying, are the Jaguars fake? I don't think the Jaguars are fake. I think the
Mm-mm.
Jaguars are second tier team with the right
Yep.
schedule. They're going to do good, and they're going to get better as time goes on. That's what it
Yep.
is. They're playing a. I mean, 49ers lost three in a row.
Right.
That's just not. It's not the. It is not the 49er way. They hit a skid. It happens, and
Mhm.
they. It is what it is. The 49ers came in and spanked them at home, 34-3. Um,
Mhm.
and
And it's just they wasn't ready. The Jaguars, they're a good team. Like you said, they are probably right up there with the second tier teams as far as like the standings in the NFL. I
oh
think
yeah,
they're
yeah,
on that
yeah,
second tier, but they just ran into a 49er team that got all of their weapons back. They got an addition of Chase Young to the defense with Nick Bosa. So
yep.
they are starting to get back to where they were. Now, now all we have to do is get the consistency back out of Brock Purdy, and things will I think things will do well for them as they make this journey once again. Because I don't think they have nothing to worry about in their division. They can pretty much, these guys are pretty much where they are. They are where they are, and as Seattle too. Seattle's kind of, you know, their propulsion has kind of slowed down a little bit too.
The next game I picked the Ravens. The Browns beat them. My hat's off
Mhm.
to the Browns.
Yep, I
Um,
picked the Ravens as
look,
well. So
yeah, it was kind of like the Ravens were playing at home. There were some things that the spread was just right, and it wasn't ridiculous. Um, and Deshaun and I'm gonna tell you something about Cleveland. When you have a good running game, and what's so crazy is the teams that we're talking about that had the good running game frees up everything else. But what's so crazy is nobody wants to pay a running back. But
Right.
I did watch a comment made by oh Falk, the great running back from years ago, and he said who took the value away from the running back. They asked him a question. He said the running back. They said, huh? He said the running back took the value away from the running back. And they were like, well, how do you figure? Because we ran when we had nothing left to give. We didn't come off the field. He said, you, the new running backs, oh, I got to get off on the side. Oh, I need a breather. Oh, I need. He said, we didn't do that. He said, we didn't
Mm.
leave the field and give another man an opportunity to show us up. Because that's kind of the difference. There's some truth
Ah.
there. Yeah, there's
Yeah, I
some
can take
gems
it from that
in that
perspective.
state.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, and that's so again, hats off to Cleveland. We picked the Ravens, the Cardinals and
Yeah.
the Falcons. The Cardinals, man, they won. They
Yeah. The
won.
Cardinal and I said it. And
Kyle
this is
Murray.
not me. Yep. This is not me as a Saints fan saying this. This is what I have good friends that are Falcon fans, and this is what they say. Falcons are gonna find a way to falcon it up. So
Falcon.
they found a way to falcon it up. When they falcon it up, that means they find a way to lose. This is coming from Falcon fans, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not making
But
this
here's the
up.
interesting.
It's come from them.
Now I'm trying to see what they have: catches, attempts, Atlanta passing, Atlanta rushing. Okay, so they had a good day on the ground as a team,
Yeah.
184 yards. Passing, they only threw for 70 yards. That's rough. I mean,
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
that's a
you
struggling
got to have
offense
both.
when you pass 70 yards. Yes,
Yeah, you got to have
that's a
both. You
struggling
got to
offense.
the run makes the linebackers back up a little to free you up to pass. I mean, there's a lot to this, but yeah, that was a good win. Kyle came back. We'll see if he can keep the winning way. The Lions and the Chargers. This was a shootout.
Yes,
This was
yes, it was. Yes, it was a shootout. It was a good game as well. Detroit, I gotta admit, Detroit is pulling me over a little. They're pulling me over their way a little bit. And I say a little bit because my team's in the NFC, but my team's not going anywhere. So they're pulling me over a little bit because they are doing the things that it takes to be a playoff problem, you know. And we'll talk about that. We'll come up with we got a segment coming for that, y'all, called playoff problems, and we'll
yeah,
name
yeah,
all the
yeah.
teams that we think are playoff problems, and just watch for that stuff, that's going up on the sports book on Facebook with the sports book on Facebook. And so y'all stay tuned. We got some stuff.
The Cowboys and the Giants. I just got back from Frisco, Texas today, so I left
Oh man,
early yesterday morning, and the Cowboys. And look, the Cowboys beat up on the Giants I was
like they were
expecting no
supposed to.
less, um,
Right. They were supposed
like they
to
were
win that
supposed
game
to.
like they won it. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. You know,
and the bottom line. I mean, Dak had 404 yards. I mean, it was just on and on and on.
yeah, it was a
That
great
Tony
that's the
DeVito.
Cowboy game. That's the Cowboy team that can take them all the way. If they can play like that
Yes,
against the other high caliber playoff teams, they don't have a problem. They don't have a problem.
right,
If that Dak shows up, that running game shows up, and because the defense is going to show up. But if they can
right.
be consistent in that lane, they shouldn't have a problem getting to the NFC Championship.
No, but the problem is, Lou, the Giants are a mess. They
Yeah,
are, and I'm not
it,
taking
it,
away from.
it was the
I'm not
Giants,
taking away from. Yeah, they're a mess. Yeah, they're
right?
a mess. I don't. I'm not. I would not be surprised if they fire the coach, get rid of Dan. I
Yeah,
wouldn't be surprised if they
Daniel
literally just
Daniel Jones is out
get
of there,
everybody.
and it sucks that all of that money is allocated into that position, and now it's almost like you have to start from scratch, which means more losing.
More. I mean, 49-17. They covered the over. Cowboys covered the
Point.
17 points they gave up. I mean, they were the Cowboys were on it, and like I said, the Giants are bad. They're real bad.
Yeah.
But hey, the
Yeah.
Cowboys did what they were
Yeah.
supposed to do. They beat up
Mm-hmm.
on a bad team they're supposed to. Um, the first quarter, the first quarters, the Giants hung in there the best. They threw everything at them. It was 7-0 going into the first quarter, and then the Cowboys just waylaid it, and the second put up 21, and the Giants were just no matched, outmanned,
They couldn't do nothing with
outgunned, outmatched, outfinanced. Yeah. Now the Commanders and the Seahawks. This was a game.
Yeah.
This was
This
a
was a good
game.
game too. Yeah, this was a game too.
I mean, Washington is uh, Huff, that Sam Howell, I like him.
Mm-hmm.
312 yards. Geno Smith went off at 369. Um, I don't know. I don't know how good this. I don't know how good Seattle is in reality. They're six
Mm-hmm.
and three. Um, I mean, this was a tight game with Washington. They won. I have some questions. I mean, I don't put them as a top tier either, but they're beating who they're putting in front of them. But they're definitely got some holes in the armor. Last
Yeah.
game before we go to break and everything is the Jets and the Raiders. This was bad. That's all I'm
Yeah.
going to say. This was
And,
bad.
and
This was
and
like
and I'm not going to even say I'm going to say honestly I didn't even watch this game. I
I
didn't even
did.
watch the
It was
game. I caught the highlights.
there was so little offense that it was. But I am happy for the Raiders intern coach.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
I think
Tony Pierce.
yeah, I like him. I like the way he talks. I like the way he handles things.
Yeah.
I hope that the Raiders keep him because he's just that hard working. He's got that hard working mentality. We're going to get it done, and I
Right.
like that. And he's worked. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not like he has a top rate quarterback. He has
Right.
Adrian O'Connell, the third string out of somewhere. I mean, this guy. I mean, and my hat's off to him, man. That's
Yeah.
the Raiders 5-5. Um, like I said, that's and the Jets. Oh, there's going to be some heads roll at the Jets at the end of the year. There's some craziness. Look, guys, we're running out of time on our first half. We got a bunch of stuff to talk about in the second half. A bunch of bets. I want to thank everyone for tuning in every Tuesday night, like you guys always do. Hit us up on Facebook, KM Radio. On our sportsbook Facebook. Hit us up at the station. All right, guys, we'll be back with our picks right here on KM Radio, where we go ham.
Uh,
KM Radio, we go ham. It's your boy Tony G and Big Lou every Tuesday night, 8 o'clock. Like we tell you, go to kmradio.com, press play, and 24 hours a day of great programming and our show every Tuesday night. All right, guys. Give you some picks, what we got going on. We'll go back and forth. First game is going to be the Bengals and the Ravens. The spread is 3.5. Now, the Bengals they're both coming off losses. The Ravens played a better team, I would say, than the Texans. Not to take away, but I think the Ravens' loss was to a little better of a team. They got some issues. The Ravens at home, again, like I said, last week didn't really mean much. But the spread's 3.5.
I think I like that
I
spread
like,
total because they both coming off a Sunday game, so it's a short
yep.
week for both teams in a tight division, and both teams need the dub. So I think there's going to
I think I,
be it's not the score. I don't think the scoring is going to be as high as we think it is, being
no,
that
I
they
agree
haven't
with you.
had any rest. Right.
I do like the Ravens.
Mm-hmm.
There I go again. I do like the Ravens. I think the Ravens are going to bounce back. I don't think they're going to be I don't think they're gonna. I don't think they're gonna lose two in a row. Um, and I think Cincinnati's got some issues. Um, the over's 46. I'm with you. I don't think I don't think that I don't think this is going to be a high scoring game. I like the under. I like Baltimore and the under.
Mhm.
All right. Next
Okay.
game is the same. Same. It's the Browns -4, and they got the Steelers. The
Mm,
over in this the over in that game is 37. I think this is going to be a grind 'em game. Two running teams,
yeah.
eat away the clock. The over's
Yeah.
37. Um,
Two big defenses,
two
big
big
time defense.
defenses,
Yeah.
two runners, people that like to run. I like the under. I don't know who you like in this game. Do you like Pittsburgh going to Cleveland and beating them? It's going to be. I mean, it's a
I
rivalry. It's
I don't. Yeah, it's a rivalry. It's a rivalry game, but I don't like the Steelers on the road. I don't like them on the road, especially playing Cleveland on the road in the dog pound. It's gonna be hard.
the dog pound. Yeah, I agree with you there. Um, I agree with you there.
And
Yeah,
I like the fourth quarter play by Deshaun Watson, but I'm not ready to give in yet until I see four quarters. Got to see four quarters of it.
yeah,
Instead of he made his little run in the fourth quarter. I need to see that in the first three quarters, and then I'll start having more confidence in him.
yeah. I totally agree. But I do like the under. The game I would definitely look at come Sunday, see if the spread goes in a different direction. But I like Cleveland and I like the under. Um, Next game is the Cardinals and the Texans. Texans are -4, their favorite. Cardinals are +4. They're coming off a huge win against a pretty darn good defense. Um, a lot of people are going to ride with the Texans. Ken Murray, um, Ken Murray, can they make it happen? I'm kind of leaning towards the Texans. The over's 47 and a half.
They got the momentum right now, Tony. They just won big time on the road against a playoff caliber team, and they're coming
Sure
back
did.
home with all that momentum. You know, CJ Stroud got the love in Cincinnati for his Ohio State alum,
Sure
and
does.
and
Yeah.
now they're bringing all that back to Texas. And me and my cousin was talking about this earlier today. That's their franchise quarterback. He says the right things in
Oh,
front of the microphone. You know, gives all the credit to where the credit is due. So yeah, I think with post game uh interview and the motivation that team has and the momentum that team has, I think they're gonna. I'm riding with the Texans with you, Tony, on this.
yeah. I like the Texans. The over's 47 and a half. Don't know about that just yet. Um, but I do like the Texans at home. Next game is the Chargers and the Packers. Packers are the dog in this one. They're +3 at home. The Chargers got so much talent. Um,
Yeah, to
if
be
you could
so
find a
inconsistent. Yeah,
to be so
you know,
if you could
to
find
be to
the
be.
prop,
Yeah, go ahead.
no, I'll say if you can find the prop bet how many yards Herbert's going to have, and if it's 300, I say bet it. I mean that guy could go off. Um, there's no the over's 44 and a half. The weather may be a little bit of a factor. Um, but I like the Chargers -3 going into Green Bay.
Okay.
I really do. The Packers got some issues. Um, Unless you see something that I don't see.
Uh, hard to say. It's hard to say. Like I say, Jordan Love is what he is. He's backup quarterback. I don't have the confidence in him, but at the same time, it's hard to. The Chargers are becoming a hard team to bet on because it's
Yes,
like
very
this is a game that you think they're supposed to win, but they can very well lose. So
right.
and I know gambling is, at the end of the day, there's just a little bit of uncertainty that you have to deal with in gambling. And I don't feel, I you know, I don't know about, I don't know. I might have to go, I might have to do all the other side bits like yardage and catches, things like that. I might have to go that route. But
Yeah,
betting
that's
on the actual game, man, both teams are not consistent enough for me to place my confidence in them that they're going to bring me some money.
right. I'm with you there. Like I said, this is more of a prop bet game. Um, I do like the Chargers, but again, I'm not saying I put my money on them because they are so inconsistent, and you don't know
Right.
what you're going to get. Um, Next game is the Giants and the Commanders. The Commanders are -10. They're giving up 10 points. Uh, Commanders are playing at home. They've got some weird games too. Um,
Hmm.
but at the end of the day, the Giants are that bad.
Yeah.
Um,
The Commanders are
they're
a better
they're
team than the Giants right now. Well, every team seems like it's a better team than the Giants right now. They're just a dumpster fire. And I don't think they're going to get a win until they go back to East Rutherford.
Yeah, I just don't see. I mean, I like the Commanders -10. I think it'll start off a little slow because they both know each other well, but I think the
Hmm.
Commanders will be able to put together and cover that spread. Um, like I said, because New York is just it's bad. I mean, it's
Yeah.
real bad. Not unless they find a miracle quarterback somewhere.
Right.
But I definitely I like the Commanders -10. The Titans and the Jaguars. The Jaguars are going home after a loss. Um,
Hmm.
-6.5. The Titans, I don't know what they're lacking in everything. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So it's like, what what do you bring? What do you bring? What do we bring into the table? We got is Levi still starting? Is
I
it there?
yeah, I mean the line seems to be
Well,
having problems.
Tannehill, yeah,
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 they're. I mean, are they? I mean, the line's having problems. Henry's not running the ball like he was. Everything I've read is he's not hurt. They have a lot of problems on. I mean, a running back needs a good
yeah.
line,
And
and
where is DeAndre? Where
yeah,
he went to Tennessee and disappeared.
yeah, you got to be able to get him the
Yeah,
ball,
that's true.
and they
That's true.
and they can't get him. They can't. They don't have that kind of. It's kind of a weird pickup. Um, I mean, it was a good attempt, but I like
Hmm.
the Jaguars -6, -6.5. The Bears and
All
the
right.
Lions. The Lions
Bears
are
don't stand a
playing at
chance.
home.
Yeah. Bears don't
They
stand a
don't
chance
have.
against the Lions. Not at home.
I mean, it's a what is it, 100 year or 60 year rivalry. I mean, it's this was our Thanksgiving game forever, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Is it Detroit or the Bears or Detroit playing Dallas you know,
Yeah. And I think,
or
like I
Dallas
said,
playing Green Bay? Well, yeah.
I like the Lions -10. I'm not. I know that 10's a lot of points, but the Bears are that bad, and I
Mhm.
think they're going to swarm around the rookie quarterback. Um, and it's I wouldn't be surprised if this is 34-10, uh, you know, 40-14. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised because the Lions can definitely put up some points. Um, I like the Lions. I like the Lions -10. Um,
Which on that
I
one?
like the Lions. Yeah. This next game is the Raiders against the Dolphins. Even the Raiders are on a 2 game winning streak. The
Mhm.
spread's 11.5. Um, I don't think the Raiders have what it takes to even keep up with the Dolphins. I mean, I would like for them because it's a great story. Interim coach comes in, ex football player. I mean, it's a great story, but I don't think he has the talent. I hope they keep him because I think with some good acquisitions, I think they could be a pretty good team. And if they can get a quarterback, um,
Mhm.
I think there's some there is definitely some hope there. But man, the Dolphins are just too much, too much, and they're playing at home, minus 11.5. I mean, provided Tua doesn't get hurt, I mean, I could see them being up 11 at the half. Um,
Mhm.
but Vegas don't make spreads. That's one thing I tell people all the time. I said, people are like, how the spread was only. I said they don't make spreads by accident. They're not just throwing numbers out there. So there's some insight, and it's always do your due diligence. Make sure see who's playing. Make sure there's not any key. Make sure there's not a lineman down for Miami. Um, but as it sits right now, I like Miami minus 11.5. Because I have a feeling, to be all honest with you, I have a feeling. Let me see, Miami and the Raiders. Uh, the over's 48. The over's doable because the Dolphins can score points. You know what I mean? That's the thing. Is there any aspect of the Raiders' defense, which is a pretty good defense? He's got them fired up, um,
Mhm.
and um, yeah, I got Dolphins. What do you got?
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I got Dolphins. I don't think, like you said, the Raiders, although their more victories, their last two victories were well deserved, well played, and well needed. But now you're going up against the top tier teams. You're going up against, Miami is one of those teams that's right up there that has playoff potential, which means they have more talent. They can't do nothing with Tyreek
Yeah,
Hill, so Tua's going to air it out. The running game is going to be pretty good as well. So this is going to be an L for the Raiders. All they have to do is just play solid football. They're not going to win the game, but just stay consistent on what's going on with the team right now. Just keep going with that fluid and see where it takes you. But I don't think they're going to win. But like I said, this will be just like they had more victories. This is going to be a moral loss. Like, okay, this is how we play if we bring it all to the higher caliber team.
right, right. No, I agree. I agree with you 100%. The Dolphins minus 11.5. This next one is the Cowboys against the Panthers. I mean, the Panthers are playing at home. They're plus 11. I see Dallas destroying them like I saw Dallas destroy the Giants.
Right.
I mean, I just don't see. There's nothing here. Um, there's nothing
Yeah,
with the Panthers that's Panthers is a young team. They're a
young
young team. They
team.
got
Yeah.
yeah, future. They got a good quarterback. I mean, but they need a lot more stuff. And
And the defensive scheme and blitz packages they're going to bring Bryce Young is going to be incredible.
oh man, they'll probably sack him 5 times. Um, that's another one. Look
I
on the
agree.
boost. See, yeah, see how many times he's going to get sacked. See if you could bet the
Yeah.
sack. Which I
Yeah, I
know you
might get
can.
in on yeah, I might get in on some of that action because it's going to be a mess.
Yeah, I mean, unless something weird happens,
Unless Dallas
provided.
plays down to the Panthers and
Yeah,
they lose by a field goal or a turnover or something, it's going to be something silly like that. But other than that, I
yeah.
think, yeah,
Next game is the Buccaneers and 49ers. Are the 49ers back? Now they're going to play the Bucks. Um, I mean, the San Fran 6-3, Tampa's 4-5. This will be a good test for um, for the Bucks, but I think the 49ers at home, I think you got to roll with the 49ers
Yeah.
minus the 11.
Yeah.
Now, the over in this is 41. So Vegas is telling us, hey, this is going to be, in which I think San Francisco defense is going to have a heyday, and then they're going to
Mm-hmm.
run the ball down. They're going to run the ball down Tampa Bay's throat, which in turn usually eats up a lot of the clock. So
Absolutely.
I like them. Yeah, I like them. I mean, if you have an opportunity to bet them first half, I would bet San Fran first half
Mm-hmm.
and then bet them on the game, and kind of go like that. But I like San Fran. I don't. I mean, like I said, I think Tampa is moving in the right direction, but I just think they're just lacking a lot of players. You know, they need a lot. They need a lot of help to be a true
Mm-hmm.
contender. Um, so I like the 49ers minus the 11. Even like the under. Even like that was a fact I was going to throw out. So I got a guy that does. He's real big. He's a numbers guy, and
Mm-hmm.
68% of all the unders this year have hit. That's a high percentage.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty high
yeah,
percentage.
yeah. That's a very. But yeah. This next game, this is the Seahawks against the Rams, and
Mm.
it's a 1 point game. It's a pick 'em. You want to say Seattle should just blow right through the Rams
Right.
because the Rams have not been very consistent. Um, but he can have them up and ready. Um, and hold on, let me see
Divisional
what the
divisional opponent. So he knows who he's playing against. Divisional opponent. So
and the over's
but
46.
mm,
And I've seen that Rams defense um, whew, look bad. Um,
yeah, yeah. We've seen him get cooked plenty of times.
yeah, the over's 46. This is one I would have to say that I'm staying away from.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm
I
gonna
am
stay away from it.
now this next one, which is going to be. Oh wait, I think I've covered. Oh no, this is going to be the Monday night game, which is going to be the Kansas City Chiefs with the Philadelphia Eagles. Kansas City Chiefs -3.
Before replay.
Yep.
And
Super.
both teams are kind of, I would say, kind of the same. And the reason why I say kind of the same because uh, Kansas City are playing with second tier receivers. So when you need somebody to go make that play, it's got to be an anomaly. You can't count on them to make that play. And it seems like to
Right.
me, with on the Philly side of things, they are not playing. They're playing lesser than they're playing lesser than the potential that they had last year. And we all know it's because they lost both their offense and defensive coordinators, you know, to other teams and to other jobs. So, it's a relearning of the offensive and defensive schemes. But Philly looks like they're starting to get it back together. This will be the testament on the road against,
Yes.
against KC. This will be the testament for Philly. Like Dallas had to blow New York out for us to take them seriously. They did that. They stepped up to the plate. For Philly, uh, I don't think of course, winning would help them a lot if they could win this game against Kansas City. That'll be a big statement for them.
Yes.
But if they play this game and it's a single digit game or a single digit loss, I think they won't be as harsh on them, me as saying the media, but I should say us. I don't think we will be as hard on Philly if it was a single digit loss.
I mean, the bottom
But it's
line
hard to
is,
say because
um, Philly is 8-1. If they go
Mhm.
to 9-1, I think it's going to be a hard. Well, the good news is for Dallas is their schedule soft. They got to play
Yes,
Philly again. Won't be
yes.
surprised if that's going to be for the NFC East championship.
Hmm.
Um, Kansas City is trying to get everybody healthy. They're 7-2. There's been a couple games I watched, and they've been a little bit but you got to. I mean, some games are like that, but you got to win.
Hmm.
I mean, they're 7-2. They ain't no joke.
Right.
Because Kansas City wants that. They want the road to come to Kansas City.
Yeah, they want that home
You know what I
field
mean?
advantage.
So yeah, sure you do. You want the AFC Championship game that has to go through. Um, and they want to. This would be a way for them to keep ahead of the Ravens. Um,
Hmm.
so man, I'm leaning towards Kansas City on this. I'm leaning towards it. Um, I think Kansas City, not that they're a way better team, but I think Kansas City's got that mojo over the Eagles.
Yeah.
And that's what I there's always somebody that just beats you by this much,
Hmm.
and not so much that they're way better than you or anything like that, but Kansas City is one of those teams where they just pull it out at the end. I mean, they've left Buffalo standing there with 15 seconds, just looking like, what
Hmm.
just happened? And a lot of teams, and it just, which takes just knocks the wind out of you. You know what I mean? You're just
Right.
like,
Right.
that just happened. And it's like, yes, that just happened. Um, but saying that, I like Kansas City the minus, and I'm gonna say this too. Um, the under's 46. I don't see this
Mhm.
being a big scoring game. I see this, a 24-14 game or something like that. I like
Mhm.
the under in in this game. I mean, you see it being a shootout?
Not, not, not really. Not really. I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with you wholeheartedly. With the close game. I think it's going to be a close game. Shootout, shootout. I'm not sure because of the
Yeah, I
receivers.
could.
Because of the receivers of Kansas City and of a little bit of inconsistency in some of the play with Philly. So they both
Yeah,
have holes that need to be addressed. So to me, I think now as far as secondaries, I kind of think Philly's secondary is a little better. But I don't think it's going to be
yeah, I'll go with you on that.
I
Yeah,
don't think it's going to be a air. I don't think it's going to be an air raid where they both have full 500 yards. Think it's going to take some time to get it rolling in this one. Something's telling me it's not going to be just a come out of the gate, 400-yard passing from each quarterback. I think it's going to start slow and just build its way up
right.
throughout the course of the game.
Yes, I agree.
But I do like the Chiefs
I,
at
de- I
home, but
definitely, I
yeah, do like the
It's gonna
Chiefs
be a
at
good
home,
game.
but
It's gonna be a great
yeah,
game.
it's gonna be a good game. But I think it's gonna take some time to get that
And
momentum going for both teams.
hey, I wouldn't be surprised the winner of this game is going to be the winner of the Super Bowl.
I agree.
I wouldn't be surprised,
Hmm.
or I wouldn't
I
be
agree.
surprised if we're looking at both these teams in the Super Bowl. How about that?
Right.
Yeah, I wouldn't be like, oh my gosh, what just happened? I would not be. I would not be. I would not be surprised. But should be a really good game. And like I said, Kansas City -3. Kansas City, the under. What did I tell you? The under was 40. Oh, wait a minute. Let me do this on the under. Oh, where you go? Where you go? Let me see. View all. I just had it.
Yep. But yeah,
46 and a half.
Yeah, 46.5.
And what are you going to say about the injuries?
So I was just gonna let all of the army and let everyone know that there will be to tune in to khamradio.com around the regular time that Sportsbook airs. Right before the game on Thursday, I'm going to drop an injury report. So Thursday before the game on
Okay.
Thursday, I would say around 6 o'clock Central Standard Time. Looking out for the Sportsbook injury report for the weekend. I'm going to drop that Thursday right before the game. So an hour before the game, 30 minutes to an hour before the game, I'm going to drop the video with all the injury reports on it. So we will have all of that information going into the week.
All right, man. We're going to wrap it up. We're running out of time. I want to thank everyone. Thank Big Lou. Every Tuesday night, 8 o'clock on the Sportsbook on KM Radio, where we go ham.
Ham.